So back in 2015, I rented my first apartment, and it was an expensive and complicated process. 8 years and 5 apartments later, is it complicated and expensive? Yes. Did I find the best apartment and manage to save $500,000 yen? Yes. So today I will be spilling my secret hacks with my friend Yo.
Hello.
And my cameraman and partner in crime, Sasha. Together, we'll go to 5 foreign-friendly neighborhoods and go through an apartment tour. If you really want convenience, you live right inside the station. This apartment is really 20 steps away from the train gates. The living room and kitchen is located on the second floor, and you need to walk down 1 flight of stairs to get to the bedroom. The apartment is light and airy and has a small kitchen attached to it. It is quite spacious, 49 square meters in fact. Perfect for singles or couples who wanted the convenience and to be near the trendy hipster neighborhood of Shimokitazawa. We can't talk about apartment without talking about the money part. Rent and management fee comes to about 169,000 yen, and you are looking at a total moving cost of around 740,000 yen, which is frankly quite steep. Stick around and I'll talk about how to negotiate your move-in cost in this video. This brings us to our apartment hack number 1, picking the right neighborhood or train line. So one thing to consider when renting an apartment is, of course, location, the proximity to station, and also the neighborhood. So one of the busiest lines in Tokyo are Keio Inokashira line and also Den-toshi line. So depending on your lifestyle, whether you have to work 5 days in the office or if you always work at home, this line might still work for you. But if you have to go on a 9 to 5 every day in a crowded train, maybe this is not the line for you. Neighborhood is very important. So for instance, neighborhoods such as Sangenjaya or Shimokitazawa, which is minutes walk from the station, so it's a very lively neighborhood, and it depends on whether you would like a quieter lifestyle or you want it to be in a more crowded area. And one of my advice for when apartment hunting is, if you really want to truly know the train situation, I would suggest that you visit the apartment during your work hours. For example, if you go to work at 9 o'clock, then come to the apartments at 9 o'clock to experience the actual train ride and to understand what you're really truly getting into. We are now at the neighborhood of Sangenjaya, a place full of tiny bars, traditional architectures, and hip cafes. The apartment we're visiting is on the second floor of a building, tucked away near a neighborhood shopping street. The apartment looks like a 1-studio unit with conjoining living room and bedroom, making the space look more light and spacious. It is actually only about 30 square meters with a handy partition door separating the living and sleeping space. Now let's talk about money. Rent is reasonable for a newish apartment in this area, at about 132,000 yen per month. But all the fees added up to be quite a lot for the move-in cost. This brings us to one of the most important hacks I wanted to talk about: prices and negotiation. When you rent an apartment in Tokyo, there are many factors to take into consideration, such as rent, deposit, gift money. And a lot of people don't know that the deposit and the gift money can be negotiated. For deposits, some places require 2 months or 3 months deposit. This can usually be negotiated down to 1 month deposit. And as for gift money, I personally has managed to waive the gift money for a lot of the properties I've rented. But this is also situation dependent because Tokyo's rental market is very hot. So if you see an apartment you like, you should apply for it immediately. And you need to also find out how many people are in line. If you are the only person in line for this apartment and the owner is trying to rent very fast, then you can try to negotiate for the gift money. So another point of negotiation is the agency fee. And usually agency fees for rental is a 1 month rent. As viewers of Nihon Hack, if you mention Nihon Hack to Yo and asked him to be your real estate agent, he will give you a discount that is so good I cannot mention any details in this video. So just make sure you find him in the descriptions below. Next up, we come to one of the most foreign-friendly neighborhood of Ebisu. Rent here is generally quite steep, but you're really steps away from Shibuya and all the main train lines. This apartment is 43 square meters in size and is made of steel and concrete. It features a very large kitchen and a through entryway to the bathroom and bedroom. It is located on the first floor with a small balcony, and it's also a dog-friendly apartment, which is hard to find in Tokyo. Let's talk numbers here. Rent is about 200,000 yen a month. But with all the fees added up, we're looking at a moving cost of a little over 1 million yen. To calculate move-in cost of an apartment, as a rule of thumb, you should take your rent and multiply by 5 for a safe budget estimate. Here is the third apartment hack I wanted to share: building materials and soundproofness. So the third point you want to consider when renting an apartment is the building material of the apartment and also the building age. So a lot of people do not consider this point. For example, a wooden apartment tends to transmit sound more easily, whereas a concrete one doesn't, like this one over here. Also, the building age matters. The older the building it is, sometimes the soundproofness is not done to the standard of today's living. So when you're looking for an apartment, don't just look at the location and price. It's better to look for an apartment that has a good soundproofness. And one final piece of advice is to find out as much as you can about the neighbors that are living around you, and also ask why the previous tenant moved out. Because if the reason is anything related to neighbors, maybe this is an apartment you want to reconsider. The next apartment we're visiting is in the Roppongi and Azabu neighborhood. Very centrally located, has tons of bars and clubs, and also very popular with foreign expats. This is a third-floor apartment with 52 square meters of space and features a very big roof balcony. The balcony features a nice view and some amount of privacy from your neighbors. The apartment is 1 LDK with a sizable bathroom and kitchen. How much do you think rent is here? Here are the numbers. Rent is one of the highest out of all the places we've seen, at 230,000 yen, but it's also one of the most central. Moving cost is a whopping 1.3 million yen. Hack number 4, apartment age and earthquake safety. So the fourth point I want to talk about is earthquake safety. And this is, of course, not the first thing on every renter's mind when you're looking for an apartment. Here's a little tip. When you're looking for an apartment, look for something that is younger than 1982. Because in 1981, Japan passed the Earthquake Safety Standard Code that requires building to match the earthquake standard. And so any building that are older than that may not match that criteria. The last apartment on this tour is located in Yoyogi Uehara, another foreign-friendly neighborhood full of nice cafes, bougie bars, and nice restaurants. This place is located on the first floor of a fairly new building and features its own private entrance through the yard. The apartment itself is not super big, about 34 square meters with a 1-bedroom and a living room. The kitchen is rather small, so this place is good for someone who doesn't cook a lot at home. Rent is about 170,000 yen a month, plus 10,000 yen in management fees. This place is one of the first places that doesn't ask for any gift money, bringing the total moving cost to around 600,000 yen. Last but not the least, important hack of the day, number 5, first floor apartments and humidity. As you can see here where I'm standing is a first floor apartment. While first floor apartments have their perks, for example, having a little bit of a yard space, having a different entryway, one thing to look out for in first floor apartments is the humidity level. First floor apartments tend to have a high humidity, so if you are renting a first floor apartment, it's better to also look at these structural elements of the apartment. If it's a RC apartment, it tends to keep a little bit more dry. And also you want to see if there's any things you can do to get rid of the humidity, such as a dehumidifier or an AC. Bonus hack, how not to get scammed out of your deposit. We happen to be in one of the apartments where the previous tenant just moved out. And my friend Yo pointed out that the blue tape markings on the wall represents the damages left by the previous tenants. As you can see from the video, the damages are barely noticeable, but this is where the previous tenants will get their deposit deducted from. To avoid this, make sure to inspect even the smallest damages when you move into your new apartment, taking pictures and video evidence, and send it to your agency to declare pre-existing damages. If you find this video helpful, please give us a thumbs up, share, and subscribe. Thank you for watching.